if I start to read Shola's profile, I'm sure that 30 minutes will not be enough. So what I'm going to do is to allow Shola introduce himself, because Shola is a man of many paths, and for me to have him today, it's a great privilege. So please, Shola, let's meet you.
It's a pleasure to be here. Do you hear me all good?
Yeah, I can hear you. Perfect.
Excellent. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Shola Amusan. People call me SA. I am originally intelligence evangelist. Daily, I identify how to find intelligence in their work. I'm also a consultant.
I think that we need to come talk about entrepreneurship, because now look at what happened to Flutterwaves, Paystack. You see a lot of these guys who are startups over time begin to have investors come in, expanding their shares, expanding their reach, reaching out to a lot of people. And currently look at what Flutterwaves have done, doing a partnership with Paystack. Now, many people, because of the fact that I'm privileged to mentor or consult for organizations, many of them are beginning to look at idea to commercialization. Many of them are looking at, why can't I start something and I grow it in another 5 years? And the question is this going to be visible? Is it going to be achievable? Is it what people need in a market share? Because I'm still coming back to predictions. I know that you're very good in that, and I'm still coming back to talk about what happened in another 5-10 years. But as a startup, I have an idea. I'm doing something currently. What are the areas? I know e-commerce is huge currently because of my research I've done. I know cybersecurity is going to be huge because of so many things happening. I don't want to mention names of people hacking here and there. You have people hacking banks, hacking organizations. A lot of things are happening. But for someone who is into the entrepreneurship circle, what will be that aspect that you need to make entrepreneurs begin to think about, to say in another 5 years, this can be something that you can sell out. This is something that investors will be willing to put money on. This is what can go beyond you and transcend to become something like a nation that people can embrace and take advantage of. What will be your own view in that direction?
Well, if you're an entrepreneur watching this right now, you're an entrepreneur, you need a lot of optimism. You need a lot of optimism. Drink optimism daily. You know, there's so many things that are there to discuss. All right, but let's put that aside now. I don't go philosophical. The key thing here is you must put a huge prerogative on data. Data is going to be imperative. Like the reason why Paystack got that investment, that acquisition, why Flutterwave got that investment is because they pay very much attention to market data. And they're privileged to be like, great entrants in that place, but paid attention to being able to analyze, visualize market data. So if you're an entrepreneur that is running value consumer data, and be able to tell your story, it is also extremely important. It is not an accident that the founders of Flutterwave and the founders of Paystack have studied and worked abroad. It is not an accident. There are certain things that our education in Nigeria does not provide for us. That's why you have many clumsy employees. That's why you have clumsy employees. You spend your time delegating a task and end up doing it yourself as an entrepreneur. Okay, so even for you as yourself, there are things as an entrepreneur that you might not have been paying attention to as you're watching us today right now. So, ability to focus on the goal of valuing market like life depends on it, because it actually does. Then technology that actually works. I see a lot of people rushing towards but what they are missing is that not because that those people have been able to do what they not just because they run those fintech companies with absolute discipline, and they've been able to project the work they are doing to the world, create solid partnership with people that are doing. So sometimes when you hear things like build something that nobody has built before, it comes from that arrogance that entrepreneurs have that anybody on ground. Access Bank was the winner that flew on when it came on board, and a lot of people might not know that. For Paystack, it was resilience. That was not their first, fintech solution, before they got on this point. And it's extremely important for you to know that those two organizations are both YC, they're both Y Combinator alumni. So it's important for you to know that there is a lot of influence around, the initial type of investors, the initial type of investors that have invested in those startups, and those kind of investors that invest are the ones who carry it on, with some effort from the entrepreneurs themselves to then go on to do more and lead follow-on Series B, Series C, Series A investments for those organizations. So it's extremely important. So it's okay to say, yes, I want to do it, but focus on actually solving people's problems. I know a lot of people who would not have been able to collect payments today without Paystack, without Flutterwave. And we enjoy those services like Facebook and Instagram. We enjoy them as if it's not even Nigerians that built it, because they work. They work. I know there are some airline agencies in Nigeria today. There are some companies in Nigeria today that to buy tickets from their website is still a problem. So many of you have created tools and platforms that truly work. And so if you're an entrepreneur, you're listening to this, you want to make sure you create something that truly works. Be part of international organizations, accelerators, global communities. The founders of Flutterwave are around here. They are Arambe fellows. So some of these things are crucial for people to be able to take on, this opportunity. Some of these are very, very crucial. You want to join global community where your work can be made visible. You'll be invited to the right places where you can talk about your projects and your business, and that leads you to the right point. And just so you know, it's not every idea, let me use the word destined. It's not every idea that is destined to make it to maturity like that. There are many things that died on the way. So if you're not sure you build something and it's not like it's becoming a unicorn like Flutterwave, don't stop. Because it might be your third, your fourth that is going to make it happen. And by all means, it might actually be your first that's going to make it happen. But chances are that you will need to learn certain things. Absolute discipline, resilience, ability to communicate effectively, being in the right place at the right time, being part of the right community. All of these things join together. The guys who put money in Flutterwave didn't do it because they like them, or because they like that, or because they like all the other co-founders' faces. No, they put it because they have interest in it. They know that this company, bottom line, is going to help them ultimately. So become profitable by all means. By all means, make sure your numbers are there. Acquire your users. Understand economics. Travel, my friend. Travel like your life depends on it. Attend conferences, pitch at global platforms, and take all of this along, sort of humility along the line, that you can build an organization that is ultimately bigger than you. Many of us don't know, and many of people who are looking at hiring investors don't know the other things that people invest in as well. The loss of control, that entrepreneurs love so much. You need to sit back, to take a back seat on your own company just because of the glory that you want to see expanding, in that particular organization. So I doubt if it's something we can cover in such a short time, but I feel those who are here would have heard more than some of the things that I've even said.
E-commerce, those in the health line, so those in the IT world, what are the predictions? What is likely to happen in another 5 to 10 years based on your research?
Basically, if I want to talk about I'm still going to talk about quite a number of things around our programs, the 2021 immersion program. But one of the things you need to know about the next 5 to 10 years, particularly in the 2020s, you would see that a lot of technologies are going to begin to merge together. You're not going to be able to tell the fine lines between things like data, AI, cybersecurity, and all of that, because employers will continue to expect that rather than people specializing in these fields, that they have multiple knowledge across board. That's what we're realizing. So there's a lot of transformation going on right now where if you're working in are learning cybersecurity for the cloud, AI for the cloud, data for the cloud, augmented reality in the cloud. So cloud technologies is like the mother of all of what is going on right now around the world. And there will continue to be huge acquisitions across board. organizations in the West will be looking for inroads to Africa significantly. So you will hear about more unicorns coming out of Africa. You will hear about more. You're going to hear about more organizations that are receiving investment. People will continue to raise money because a lot of organizations in the West are beginning to understand the African market a little more. That is not so much of an advantage for people who are inherent in the ideology of taking over Africa from the hands of the colonial masters. But unfortunately, I mean, people won't say no to money when investment comes. So many of these organizations have seen that Mastercard and Stripe have put that much money, 200 million in acquiring for Paystack, and now they've seen what has happened that has made Flutterwave to become a unicorn. So within the tech space, you're going to see a lot more acquisitions and investments like that. You're also going to see just what happened to India. If you want to study and understand where Nigeria will be in the next 10 years, go and look at where India was or where India is today. If you want to know whatever we're doing today, India was there 10 years ago, because India has a similar demography, in terms of population. Even though they're larger, they're much larger, but there's a lot of similarities in what the social strata that exists in that country looks like. So being a very aspirational country, you will see many organizations paying attention more to human capital development in the technology space, and you will see a lot of young people responding to that. They will respond to digital currencies, they will respond to digital finance. That's why you see that the explosion in cryptocurrency. When it gets to it, university graduates will now begin to sit down to understand how cryptocurrencies actually work. So it won't just be an exclusive preserve of a few Yahoo boys. Do you understand? So we need to understand how that applies. The same way, you have a floor, trading houses. You will get to that point. Forget about what the brand looks like right now. You will get to that point where you have trading houses. They might not be physical trading houses with 500 people, but there will be trading. There will be cryptocurrency trading, cryptocurrency research syndicates who put themselves together to understand how to crack this world of digital finance. And in the same way, you will see more companies depending on Nigeria, like they did to India 10 years ago, depending on customer service. So you're going to see a bigger attention coming to people learning how to speak like Americans, like British people. You're going to see a lot of that coming. More people are going to be learning a lot of how to twist their tongue, because customer service centers will emerge, many more. Then over the next 5-10 years. Already in Victoria Island, there are companies that are hiring close to 1,000 people right now on technology, core technology, customer service for core engineering. Right, so you will continue to see most of that. Also, employers of labor across different countries of the world, like Airbnb and Uber and Lyft and other organizations like that don't have physical offices in Nigeria, but that have people using their services from Nigeria, like Netflix will consider offices, and they will start as sales and marketing locations and then evolve into engineering locations. Engineering locations that are local as well. So, and then also within the next 5 to 10 years, particularly depending on the outcome of the 2024 election, there's going to be another stream of returnees who feel that they have explored the opportunities in America and Europe, who want to come back. And that's why you shouldn't attach your destiny to anybody's movement, because they have done their own journey. They studied at MIT and Yale. They will come and experiment their own 10 years in Nigeria. If it works for them, if it doesn't work, they will move back. That is the human spirit. We are nomadic in nature. People left in 98, some left in 1990, some left in the year 2000, some left in 2010, some will live in 20. And it's not everybody who has left that is going there to go and suffer. A lot of people plan and scope their lives are moving into larger opportunities that is life changing. And because of village people, they won't go on social media, come and publish how many houses they now own, or how many cars, or how they're changing other people's life, or how many scholarships they're paying for, or how many people they're feeding, or how much they're contributing to their alma mater. They won't say on television or on Instagram, right? So as we look into the future, technology skills will become an imperative. Every single person, if you're in agriculture, you will need to know how technology empowers your work. If you are in finance, you will need to know how technology affects finance. If you are in education, you will need to understand technology-enabled education. You will need to understand all of that. And those who will really thrive will be people who understand finance at every level, whether it's digital finance or fiat currencies or actual stock market investment, real estate investment. Or people who understand the future of finances are people that will continue to thrive. Okay, so whatever field you find yourself, if you do not evolve and add technology skills to yourself, you will suddenly find out that you will not be the preferred in your place of work anymore. So if you're in mid-career or you are even in early career, you want to add up several skills to yourself. Using Excel is an imperative. I don't even talk about those things anymore. Be able to use Google Docs, use Gmail like a pro, like use Gmail like a pro, being able to understand how to use Slack, how to use Trello, how to use all of these collaboration tools as somebody who is just moving into the workforce is extremely important. And if you're in the workforce already and your work does not demand it today, it will demand it tomorrow. So make sure you sit down and think about how you're going to be able to do all those things. Don't say we don't use Trello in our office now. Maybe want to initiate, because that's where the organization is going to. And there will be several boards like Monday and other tools that will come up online in the future that will continue to have the underlying or fulfill the underlying desire of people to collaborate and work collaboratively, regardless of what names they are called. Learn them and become a pro at using them.
Where do you see Nigeria in another 5 years in terms of where do you see our country, Nigeria, in another 5 years when it comes to technology? For instance, many countries are thinking of water car, solar car, electrical car. We are still fighting with oil. We are still trying to talk about bandits, So if you look at Nigeria critically as a third expert, based on what you've seen in other countries and what is happening currently in Nigeria, where do you think Nigeria will be from education to finance to real estate? Because you see a lot of people now, a lot of graduates who've not been in school. I said a lot of graduates, a lot of undergraduates who've not been in school for over 12 months, thereabouts. Now you see every one of them becoming sales rep in real estate companies. It's like everywhere in Nigeria, in Lagos for instance now, it's real estate, selling land and all of that. And then I'm wondering, what will be the future of this country in another 5 years? If you're going to look at it carefully, looking at it from the technology angle of it, the defense sector, what will you say will happen in another 5 years?
Yeah, first let me start with the fact that if there's no complete anarchy, if we don't get to a state of complete anarchy, if we are lucky, look, the fact that Nigeria is today is a daily miracle. And I don't even mean in any metaphorical sense. I mean it in every sense of it. The fact that Nigeria is what it is today, if you go through the length and breadth of this country and see how many people are agitated and see how much is going on around, you know we're sitting on the kettle of So already, if we don't get to a state of anarchy, we don't move towards Syria, we are still able to keep our equilibrium going, whether it's the mountain where the prayers are going on that is working, or just our desire to stay alive as humans, that hasn't pushed us to a state of anarchy completely. I think that Nigeria will only continue to grow at the level that it's growing right now, driven by forces of demand and supply, the organic nature of things. So you will see a 2021 BMW that can self-drive. You will still drive on the potholes because the government will do nothing. So how you know what will happen in the next 5 years is to ask yourself, what is different from what happened in the last 5 years? So 5 years, 6 years ago, people of Jonathan flagged up the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, all right? And 5 years later or 6 years later, I still use the same road. Still there, all right? So they're still considering using, the returns of people's loot to go and fix the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and contractors over again. Was it not properly scoped initially? Was it given to contractors and they were not paid? Were they paid and they just didn't do the job and nobody held them accountable? So it's a human problem we have. It's not like some gods came from heaven to come and give us problems or we're under a curse. We're not under a curse. Our priorities are not just where they should be. So I don't see any leapfrog. That's what I can say. I don't see any leapfrog over the next 5 years. We've not. You see, if you want to build Burj Arab in Lagos now, so when I joined Microsoft in 2014, that was around the time when they started building the Eco Atlantic City, I think, if I'm right. And you see Pell Towers. Those Pell Towers, those 2 towers are there now, right? So that's exactly how it works. So if you want to build a Burj Arab, it takes 6-7 years. It took Dubai about 6 years to build Burj Arab. So if there's no foundation for Burj Arab today, Burj Arab disappear and just happen in Victoria Island in 6 years' time. So I don't see any leapfrog because these things don't happen by miracle. Things won't just relocate themselves and find themselves here. So it's important for us to understand that that's exactly how some of these things are. So there won't be a giant leapfrogging, there will just be this organic growth if we don't move towards a state of anarchy. So in 5 years' time, you will see a little more high rises in Lagos, more employers. Airbnb may be in Nigeria at that time. Twitter may have an office that has 100 instead of 2 people. Netflix might have an office that has 200 people. All of those kind of things, and there will be cars. There will never be cars because Nigerians will buy the latest cars. And all of this. Yeah, so you need to know that those are things that are going to happen in Nigeria. But the education system might not have changed because there is no plan towards that. There's currently no bill in the house that is talking about increasing the salaries of professors, increasing the budget in education. There are no conscious efforts in that direction. And it's important to know that if there is no conscious effort, then there is no success whatsoever.
On behalf of Digital CEO team and myself, thank you, Shola, for always being there for